All right, so we had a little water spill, but it's all better now. So when we go into working with our puppy, ready, Bailey? We might want to practice, ready, Bales? Having fun things happening in the corralled space, even when you're home. She's like, how do I get back in? So with your puppy, if they're a little unsure, ready? You can also lure them and have them go on in. So you don't want to turn this into a trap. What a lot of people do is they'll use food or toys and treats, lure the puppy into the situation like the corral or the crate, and then all of a sudden just slam the door closed on them. The problem with that is it might get your puppy thinking that a treat becomes the beginning stage of something bad. So Ebba, can you not run for right now, my love? So obviously we sometimes have distractions. So Bailey, come. Yes. So we can sometimes use those distractions to our advantage. So obviously if you've got littles or you have distractions, Bailey, come. Yes. You can sometimes use those lovely little moments for rehearsal of behavior you want to have gained for later. So obviously Miss B working that name recognition. She's doing a real nice job, Bailey. Yes. So sometimes there's going to be moments where maybe you lose your puppy. No big deal. So the real world involves a lot of good distractions. So I would come in the corral with her, sometimes again, throw in a few little training treats or give her something to work on. Ready, Bales? So we have the slow feed bowl like I had mentioned. So I get in the rhythm of sometimes feeding her her breakfast, lunch, and dinner in her corral, even if the door is open. But I do find for a lot of puppies, they get very distracted, just like littles. So I would highly recommend to have your puppy start off with the corral sometimes a little closed as they're getting more situated. So that way they almost don't get distracted about what's happening in the environment while they're having their breakfast, lunch, or dinner. This can also get them in the rhythm of thinking that the fun stuff and the meals happen in this zone, which brings value again to the corral and crated section. So for Miss B, she's working some of her kibble out of the bowl. So now she's in this little zone. I might refill it with a couple little training treats that she brought from home, plus her kibble. And then I'm going to go ahead and exit the little corral and have her just practice hanging out in this space. You'll see that obviously since we're here with her, we're going to leave her gear on. As I mentioned earlier, if she was going to be alone or unsupervised, even if you're home but you're in the shower, I would take equipment off, even her collar. So you'll see that the little carabiner clip here on this, this lovely exercise pen is holding the door wide open. I don't want to by accident startle her if she bumps into the door or the door starts to close on her. I want her to think that, for example, the door will not be wiggling so it doesn't overwhelm her. So as she's over here, I'm going to toss a few snacks into this little crated zone. She's not familiar with this crate because it's not hers. If she's used to instead not this wire crate, but instead a plastic Very Kennel or similar brand, you could still do the same sort of concept. You might do bungees to attach the corral to the crate. For other puppies, you might even put the crate inside the corral and then close the corral around it. This corral does not have doors, which for some folks is a little bit more awkward. So you might have to unclip this and then let them out. But if, let's say, for example, your pup is doing fine with no doorway, the doorway can just be a convenient factor for you and for them to rush them out to the restroom. So as Miss B is hanging out over here, I might practice where this could be, again, in your kitchen. This could be in a living room. I would recommend that if you're wanting, though, the puppy to get comfortable, is have a room that's not the most dramatic for, let's say, human or family practice. So if the living room is kind of the fun place for littles or where a lot of chaos happens, you might find a kitchen configuration or off to the side a little bit easier. Hey, Ebba, can we start walking, please? Can you listen to Mama? Thank you. Because the run-in is a bit distracting for the lovely lady. She's going to stay in there, though, for now. And she's practicing with her slow feed bowl, okay? Can you leave the blankie? Thank you very much. So Ebba sometimes helps as well throughout the training. So obviously having littles that are here to practice is a great moment for Miss B to realize that littles romping around or making some noises don't equal anything too spooky. So for Bailey, you can see that there's a couple different items down. I would recommend to only put items down that she is safe with. I don't recommend plushie toys because if you were to leave and then come back and you don't see the plushie, it could be inside of her. There's been many times where your puppy might eat something and then have an obstruction. So as your puppy changes and develops, you're not going to want to go ahead. There we go. Nice, give her little lovies. Is you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that when your puppy is, for example, maturing, is sometimes baby puppy toys seem durable at the time because they haven't broken them. But as they become more mature and they start to learn how to chew, we're going to leave it open for just a minute, Ebba, okay? Thank you. But as they become more mature, the problem there is in your puppy's chewing habits may change. So the problem with the chewing habits changing and then not checking on your toys or gauging how much of a chew they're creating on the product is that you may come home and notice certain things are missing. So rope toys, plushie toys, anything they can break and try to ingest would be toys I would supervise with. So if, for example, your puppy has some plushies, I would do those when you're there and playing with her or are watching her. So Bailey, nice, yes. Ebba, no running. Walking, please. Thank you. Because the running is sometimes a little bit spooky. So we want to do lots of slow walking. So you can see that Miss B is doing some really nice little check-ins even throughout this practice. If we're finding that Bailey is, again, having a hard time with something, I might sort of practice a couple little find-its in the corral. But remember that when your puppy is really tired, they might actually become over exuberant, which then people think, oh, I need to give my puppy more exercise to calm them down. That's almost like me saying, oh, I noticed my toddler's tired, so instead of napping, we're going to bring them to Chuck E. Cheese. So more excitement when your puppy is already excited might be adding fuel to the fire that you maybe didn't want to deal with. So make sure, again, that rest period is happening. So we might practice at times having the corral, and I'm just going to feed her while she's inside the little zone. Sometimes I might even show her, again, a couple snacks in the slow feed bowl. But the main goal is that you're building up this little zone as being where fun things happen and we can relax and enjoy special puzzles or chews or, you know, appropriate alone items too. So Miss B is doing a great job. So when she's practicing again, if the crating is still hard, this is a good in-between step. But I would highly recommend to create, again, like a little log of how many potty breaks she's having in the day, how many were successful outdoor visits versus inside visits by mistake, and then gauge, again, how many restroom moments you might actually have to set up for her in a day span. You may find at nighttime she could maybe make it through the night. For some puppies, they need a little break somewhere in the middle or early morning. I'd recommend go right out to the restroom, have them go potty, and then right back into crate with no talking, no excitement. Because if, for example, they think when they wake up in the middle of the night, 1 second, Hippo. Okay, I'll come help you in 1 second. Thank you. I'll be right there, okay? So let's say if Bailey starts to think, gee, if I wake up in the middle of the night and then we go and play or we do some other behaviors, she might start to think that whining was also what got her out for more play. So whining to get out of crate is fine, but we want to make sure that we go and make it very nonchalant and we give her another little moment to go take the time to go sleeping again. So, but I'll talk a little bit more about some more helpful skills and we'll give her a little break, but this was a very nice starting point. Very good job. And then I'll go help Ebba.